Broadcom has launched the Tomahawk Ultra, powerful Ethernet chips, switch chip built to support large AI and high-performance compute HPC systems. It connects up to 256 processors, four times more than NVIDIA's competing product, and uses open Ethernet standards instead of proprietary InfiniBand technology. The Ultra offers very fast data speeds, low delays, advanced features. It supports scale up and scale out computing, making it easier and cheaper to build and manage AI networks. Chips made using TSMC's 5 nanometer processor and is already shipping to customers, so we should be seeing this shipping in some switches soon, Tom.
We absolutely should. And if you haven't figured it out yet, the reason why this is not just a plain old Tomahawk is because of Ultra. The Ultra was not just a random superlative that they picked out of the dictionary. This is, in fact, running Ultra Ethernet. You know, that industry thing that they got together with companies like Cisco and AMD to do basically is like, oh, NVIDIA, you want to create a custom proprietary protocol for doing AI Ethernet stuff. What if we did one of our own and made it a standard? Because that's what they did. And they released the 1.0 standard recently, a few months ago, which basically means that's about enough time for a company like Broadcom to come out with something that utilizes that spec. And of course, they're going to pick Tomahawk because Tomahawk is their switching line. And so I think this is a valuable lesson because we've seen NVIDIA making moves in other places. NVIDIA has opened up their architecture. No. Hold on. Before you leave that comment talking about NVIDIA and open source and all that other stuff, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the fact that NVIDIA is allowing other companies to design and sell Spectrum X platforms. You know, it would be like if Cisco wrote an RFC for EIGRP. They did. The idea here is that NVIDIA wants more of the companies that are leading in networking to sell their Spectrum X technology because once the companies that are buying NVIDIA technology start using Spectrum X in the network, they're kind of locked in. You know, that thing we hate, vendor lock in. Well, in this case, Broadcom is hoping that people are going to start deploying Ultra Ethernet. And the idea is that they're selling this on a trusted platform, Tomahawk. They're selling it as, well, it's a Tomahawk, but it does more. So if you're already looking to refresh to build out a new AI pod or something like that, why don't you give us a shot? We'll probably send some people out there to make sure that it works. Everything will be copacetic. And as soon as you know that it works the way you want it to, we will continue to improve it as new specs come out for Ultra Ethernet. And then you won't have to use Spectrum X, right? That is the ultimate goal here, is that they really want people to leverage their technology. And look, I get it. This is the same thing that I've had to deal with in my life in the Cisco world. There's Cisco, and then there's what everybody else got together to make the standard so that it's the opposite of Cisco. Only this time, it's companies like Broadcom and Cisco getting together to make a standard that's the opposite of NVIDIA, which is one, a way that you know that you are the biggest player in the market, but two, it is probably the only way that people are going to be able to come together to create this standard. Because if Broadcom and Cisco had been competing with each other to create a standard for an open Ethernet fabric that would allow it to compete with InfiniBand, we would have never gotten to this point. The fact that NVIDIA kind of won that battle tells me that they all know where the issues are. And so that's kind of where we are. And bravo to Broadcom for getting it out the door. Granted, they kind of knew what it was going to look like. So, you know, it's like when those draft Wi-Fi specification routers come out, and it's like, well, we were involved in writing the draft, so we were pretty sure that this was going to be final. So we were able to get one out the door before anybody else. That's the kind of thing that you want from someone who's a market leader in switching technology.